You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
US Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why US Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from US Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/builtforus to get started.
Ei, você que tá aí curtindo esse podcast, você tem caspa? Ah, então nem precisa mais ficar com vergonha. Chegou a nova linha Dercos Anti-Caspa DS da Vichy. Ela elimina 100% da caspa visível, sem ressecar os cabelos. E para todos os tipos de cabelo, seco, normal ou oleoso. Dá até para usar blusa preta. Não é à toa que a Dercos Anti-Caspa é a marca mais recomendada por dermatologistas no Brasil e no mundo. Saiba mais.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Join us alongside a surprise-looking Jacob here, as he literally hopped in as I hit go live. So we are live on the air, Jacob. No, nothing inappropriate here. All right, man.
Yep, I saw that. Won't make that mistake more than once. How's everybody doing tonight? Looks like we got a good group up here in the chat already, which is cool. We had some great news today. I'm not going to spoil it, but we got some really great news. Really exciting news. I'm really jacked to get to that here in just a second. Let's just kick this thing off the right way. There you go. CJN got it too. Look at that double dip in there. No extra charge, Jacob King. Yeah, Jacob, we got some great news, and I'm telling you, man, anytime Xavier Legette talks, good things happen. So I don't think it was any coincidence here. Listen to my man Legette today in this interview. You ready for this?
So said that he has been demoted to the second most country Panthers player. How does it feel to take over the number one spot right there?
Oh, man, I really and truly, man, I don't even think I'm country, man. That's what a lot of folks like to say. Man. I think I'll speak regular.
I'll speak regular.
That's my guy right there. I promise you, this is your warning all season long. If I see an Xavier Legette interview come across Twitter, I'm showing it on this show right here. It's happening. So just get used to that. Now, some people are going, what's the big news that Jacob was talking about? Glad you asked. Bang, our good buddy Rob Westerman, third over at GPB Daily. What is it again? GBP Daily. I always get it mixed up. Green Bay Packers Daily is what it stands for, but I just want to give the proper Twitter handle. So it's at GBP Daily. Rob Westerman tweeted out awesome news for fans who would like to tune in to Packers Family Night tomorrow. It will be live streamed on Packers.com. Jacob, they're listening, man. The social media team has been up in their game this year. Obviously, getting Family Night live streamed on Packers.com. Got to tip your cap to the good folks over at 1265, man. This is awesome freaking news, is it not?
It is. It's just, not to be at all negative. It's weird it took them this long to realize, like, hey, we've got the biggest fan base in the world. Like, screw America's team. The Packers are the world's team as far as NFL goes. They can sell out a stadium of 85,000 plus people with people tailgating, you know what I mean, during a scrimmage, basically. And that's not even to count the fact, I mean, we've got people that camp outside for days when it's in the middle of a monsoon raining just to get a glimpse of us practicing. So, like, the fact that they haven't thought about it, like, hey, maybe we should put it somewhere where we could make any sort of, I don't know if they're going to, have some sort of ad revenue. I'm sure they got to make money a little bit off of this, and I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, because with like how smart and how much like business acumen is guys like Ed Policy and obviously Ted Thompson was, and even Gutekunst, you'd think that they would not turn their eye to make a little extra money while at the same time growing kind of the allure of like Family Night's a great thing. Not many stadiums or teams do something like that. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. There's a number of different ways that you can create some extra revenue if you do this thing right. I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but I've said it in the past, and I mean it. I really do. They could have done a very cheap pay-per-view for this thing and made a bunch of extra money.
Dude,
and Packer fans,
I would have paid $5.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're supporting your team. It's like a donation to the team. You get to watch the family night. Now, I know there's going to be people that hate on me for saying that. But that's just kind of the way my mind operates. Like, I understand you can buy cheap jerseys and knock off apparel, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your jam, cool. But I personally like to purchase directly from the team and know, all right, man, this is going to the team. This is supporting the cause type thing. Call me a company, man, whatever you want. But that's just that's kind of how I see things, man. I think it's sowing good seed, and it'll come back to you, tenfold for sure. But Eric Sutherland says, outstanding, hell yeah, and everybody's excited, man. Dane in the house, oh hell yeah, absolutely. Coach Lynn says, great. Now it's individuals, film, practice, please, yes, amen. That's the next step, right? Everyone else in the league, to the best of my knowledge, allows their fans to film the 11-on-11 stuff. They're still trying to crack down on that, but listen, man, they're never going to completely stop fans from filming that practice, are they, Jacob?
No, I mean, I actually was just right before I hopped on here. I watched Boz's latest channel, and you can tell he's got somebody boots on the ground that was able to sneak a few vids. We got our guy Tim, our own TMZ, Timmy. Big B, obviously does a lot of that, and a ton of other people. So I understand to a certain extent why they would maybe want this rule, but it's so old now and antiquated, in my opinion. It's just, you can't stop it. There's leaks from every which way, no matter what. And honestly, how much information are they going to get? I just think
right. That's the big thing. Yeah. You're sharing. You literally have to share game tape every single week. Every NFL team has access to every other NFL team's all 22 film, and we're going to pretend like a practice is going to tip something off. I get the understanding or the thought process of, look, if no information gets out, it's better than any information getting out. I guess I understand that, but same time, man, I'm just I'm a selfish fan. What can I say? Let's see here. CJN said Eagles did a practice like our family night, and the media, their media is like, quote, no other fan base goes to a practice like this. And then CJN
and they only had 50 to 60,000 people there. I saw that. I hated that. No, nobody else does this in the NFL. You're right. We sell out 85,000 people.
Right. That's what CJN said. I was like, welcome to the party. Packers been selling out family night practice since the late 1990s. I think it started, was it 99? I believe they started doing family night, if I remember correctly.
I went to the first one. I thought it was maybe early 2000s, but yeah.
Could have been. Jeff Silky in the chat said, family night's such a tradition. It's just a chill night in Lambeau. No stress, right, Jeff? Like, you don't have to worry about your team winning or losing. Grab you a cold beer. Everybody's got the family there. There's going to be fireworks afterwards. You get to see your favorite players.
They actually do a legit fireworks display, and it's only gotten better and better each year. And now with the addition of everything that they did with the Lambeau, like just the absolute – what do they call the area? Like, is it like the Winter Wonderland they have, but what's the theme park area now where Lambeau is? They have a couple different names, I think, for the different part, but it's like, it's not like going to Lambeau Field in the 90s. It's like going to
Titletown, right? Yeah.
Titletown. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. It's more like I always think about it like the old school Mall of America. I don't know if you guys had ever been there. It was just so cool. There were so many different parts of it. Everything, like, there's just more and more and more. And there's so many more things to do. Like you said, with your family, the slides, and the sledding in the winter. And I mean, it's just, dude, they turned that place into like a legit theme park now.
Yeah, definitely. Dane in the chat says 100% Clayton. I pay $20 for this. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Jay says, take my money. Jeff Silky says, take my wife, please. LOL. Jeff Silky says, Halfley is about to have his mind blown. That's the coolest part about family night, is just the juice that it adds for the team, for the coaches, right? To go out there and see all that firsthand, like, holy cow, these fans are passionate. Jeff Halfley has not experienced that yet, right? So it's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm really excited about it for sure.
They talked about how Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney were both asked to, like, have you heard kind of how crazy it gets for a scrimmage? And they're like, yeah, we've heard rumors. And I think Jacobs even said, like, it's crazy. I've seen people tailgating outside for like our practices during the days. Like, this team's crazy. So I'm excited. I'm excited, just like you said, more for Halfley, I think, than anyone, just because I think that's really going to click with him. Like, holy crap, I'm the defensive head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Like, and he's going to, I think, really understand. If he brings a defense to Titletown, do you know how crazy fun like this? We haven't had that element forever, if ever, like during my life. Like, it's crazy.
To me, it goes underrated. You're not the only one to just kind of overlook it. But in 2009, when Dom Capers was hired, that defense transformed real quick. It didn't last very long, but like the year they won the Super Bowl, that defense was stout, you know. And some of the key acquisitions that they made throughout the season, you know, one specifically, Howard Green, one of the more underappreciated Green Bay Packers. They went out and signed that huge nose tackle. If I remember correctly, I think he's the one who got the pressure in Ben Roethlisberger's face when he throws the pick to Nick Collins in the Super Bowl. I believe that was Howard Green that pushed the pocket because he was a guy that could just dominate double teams. Wasn't a superstar by no stretch of the imagination, but just a perfect pickup for the Green Bay Packers in that specific year for sure.
I know too, right? That was the year. So Howard Green was a huge pickup. I know they recently had got Ryan Pickett, which was massive on the inside. And then they also, James Starks was a guy that people didn't realize I don't think got major playing time until well into the year.
James Starks.
The one that, did I say, yeah, James Starks. And he was the one that kind of catapulted them. I think like their offense kind of gave them a new spark.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Ryan Grant went down early that year, right?
Yeah.
And James Starks came in from, I think, was he from Buffalo? If Emilio gets on here, he'll be letting us know if he was. I think he went to Buffalo, and that's where Emilio actually played college lacrosse. So lacrosse, field hockey, whichever one. I get those mixed up. He's going to hate me for it, but I do. Let's do this, man. Let's shift gears and talk a little O-line. You know, we've been talking about the O-line kind of shuffling around and where people are settling in at. I keep hearing podcasters talk about the fans are really upset. There you go, Smitty. Thank you, buddy. He said, yes, it was Buffalo was where James Starks played. I keep hearing people I don't hear any fans complaining about it, me personally, and I could be just, got my head in the sand, but I'm hearing podcasters and live radio hosts talk about fans are upset that Jordan Morgan's playing right guard, not left tackle. Have you heard that, Jacob? I haven't heard it.
I haven't heard it like it's prevalent. I have seen a few posts here and there, but I honestly don't think, I haven't seen anybody that I respect personally or anybody that I care about their opinion or anything like that say anything like that. Because to me, if we get a guy that's at a starting position, to me that's a win right there.
It's beautiful. Like you're taking. It's pretty much common knowledge that if a player can play both tackle and guard, we talked about this with Zach Tom. Let me say it this way: someone within the building told, I think it was Wildy. They told Wildy, Zach Tom, or maybe it was Rob Demoski. They told someone. They see Zach Tom as a great tackle. They see him as a Pro Bowl guard, and they see him as a Hall of Fame level center. Okay, so that's not a coincidence that the way you look at that player, it increases the difficulty decreases, I should say, as you move closer in the interior. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone who plays tackle can play guard. That's the farthest thing from the truth there. Don't get me wrong. But when you've got a player that you draft at tackle and then you can plug him at right guard and he's going to come in and be a step above where he would have played at left tackle, and you already feel pretty confident and pretty comfortable, according to Adam Stenovich, the Packers offensive coordinator, that they're happy with Rasheed Walker at left tackle. And, you got Zach Tom. He's going to be healthy. He's pretty much – it's all but proven now. His pec is going to be fine, right? So you got Zach Tom at right tackle, Rasheed Walker at left tackle. Now you got this first-round stud that you're going to plug and play at right guard, which is going to lift his level of play up just a touch. Why are we complaining about that? You got Elton Jenkins at left guard. Josh Myers, I know we're all iffy on him at center, obviously. I don't think he's the long-term solution, but he's definitely better than like a Sean Ryan in that position, or even a Jordan Morgan at right tackle kicking Tom to center, or kicking Elton Jenkins to center and playing Sean Ryan at left guard. You feel like Myers is probably better. What it comes down to is Josh Myers better than Sean Ryan. I think we would all agree, yes. Right. But anyway, as far as the O-line, Ross Tucker put this out in 33rd Team, actually tweeted it out, said Ross Tucker's offensive line power rankings. You guys know I'm a big Ross Tucker fan. Played for multiple teams in the league as an offensive lineman, just a stand-up dude, got some of the best podcast content out there. This is how he ranked them, okay? He's got Detroit 1, Philly 2, Cleveland 3, Atlanta Falcons 4, Indianapolis Colts 5, Kansas City Chiefs 6, New York Jets 7th, and then the Green Bay Packers 8th. So pretty darn cool that they have the Packers as the 8th best offensive line in the league. And again, people go, okay, it's just a power ranking, Clay. This is from a guy who played for multiple teams and multiple positions on the offensive line. He understands offensive line inside and out. I've learned more about the schematics, which if we get time, we're going to talk about a little bit of offensive line play from Ross Tucker. And the fact that he's got the Packers listed as number 8, Jacob, that fires me up, dude. Do you feel like that's a pretty fair ranking? Is it too high, too low? How do you feel about that?
You know, I want to say that it's fair. If anything, I think it might be a little too optimistic, just because we do have a lot of question marks in the interior, and we need Myers to at least stay at, like, if he could give us a 70 PFF grade, I'd be cool with that. If we do see a kind of resurgence of Elton, and if Morgan is even sufficeable, you know, but if Morgan comes out and is anywhere from a 70 to 75, I consider that a massive win. You know, it is crazy to see that the NFC North, where basically all 4 teams are in the top 10 pretty much. You got Chicago at 11, Minnesota at 9, and then obviously Detroit's number 1. That's a pretty decent grouping there. I think that's fair, to be honest. I do. And I think we could be even better, like we talked about, if Myers can take a step, if Morgan can even be decent. I think it's and again, I think it's stupid for people to argue about the fact that the blah, 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 he's a first rounder, should be playing at this position. Like John says, Morgan just owning right guard would be a wonderful outcome. I don't care where we drafted him. It's going to be great. You know, Same thing Ron's saying here. He says Morgan's even a swing player in his first year. It's a win. There's only so many big athletes. I agree with that. Jeff was saying Morgan can still be a swing tackle. Like, that's the thing, is this could be, we could call it a quote unquote red shirt year if you want to think of him as a tackle, and he just gets 1,000 snaps at right guard and
right.
then
and your
kicks out.
Better.
Exactly. And yeah, so, and we always hate to say it, but you know that there's going to be some injuries. So I wouldn't just think that all he's going to be is right guard. And that's so crazy that you're saying all he's going to be is a right guard. Even if he ends his career never playing a snap at tackle, if he was a great guard, then that's a great pick. Like, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, CJ in the chat said, I'm finding 1999 as the first family night. Mr. Matt Hasselbeck throwing darts. There you go. That's a turn back the clock, isn't it? Jeff Silky says Starks had like 106 yards against the Eagles. Yes, Starks was from Buffalo. Confirming that from earlier. Jeff Silky says, honestly, people are silly to question the Packers' ability to draft linemen. It's so true, man. It's very seldom that they miss on offensive linemen, especially when they draft them early, right? And it's kind of few and far between when they do it. You know, here more recently, obviously, I feel like they missed on Josh Myers, although there's probably going to be some teams that looks at his athleticism, his build, his stature, and they'll probably throw a good chunk of change at him, right? But Elton Jenkins, second-round pick, they nailed it. Obviously, you go back to Brian Bulaga. That was an awesome pick there. Derek Sherrod would have been if he hadn't completely destroyed his leg. Obviously, he was another guy that was going to be just a stud, but I like what John says here. Bears overrated at 11, in my opinion. I think the Bears will be overrated at number 32, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. Jay says we definitely have a top 10 O-line. So everybody seems to agree with it for the most part. CJN says, is Morgan possibly doing right guard and left tackle due to opposite sides? I'd rather Morgan do left guard. If he hadn't had any experience at left tackle, I would completely agree with you, CJN. But it sounds like Jordan Morgan has always been a left tackle. You heard Bill Belichick on Draft Night say, make no mistake about it, this dude is a true left tackle. So they probably feel real comfortable in that would be an easy transition right back. The tough transition is going to right guard, right? But he's obviously picked it up and ran with it. He's kind of running away with that job. There's some people that are still saying him and Sean Ryan are in a camp battle. I just don't see it. I think that Jordan Morgan's got that locked down, man. He is such a technician too when you really focus on the box cam. John in the chat says Tunzel and Ogden both played guard in their rookie. I did not know that. That is great information right there. Obviously, Laramie Tunzel and then Jonathan Ogden. Is Jonathan Ogden a Hall of Famer? Am I thinking right? I think he's in the Hall of Famer.
He should be if he's not.
I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, that's great information there. Thank you for that, John. Since we were talking about offensive line, I wanted to hit on this. So we were talking, obviously, Packers ranked 8th there. Where is Tampa Bay on this list? They're 22nd, right? Yeah. So check this out. The reason I wanted to hit on that is because Tristan Wirfs just got the bag. All right. He's their left tackle. And this was from Adam Schefter. It says sources, Buccaneers and 3-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs reached agreement on a 5-year, $140 million contract extension that now makes him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Wirfs was in his final year of a contract and scheduled to pay him $18.2 million this year. He now is contractually tied to Tampa through 2029. And the reason I want to bring that up is, again, Ross Tucker feels like Tampa has the 22nd best offensive line, right? And then Tristan Wirfs gets the bag. He's the highest paid in terms of average annual value. Okay, so basically you take the total of his contract, divide it by how many years the contract is. That's what it averages out to. He's the highest in that regard. So let's go to Spot Track here real quick and look at the highest paid in terms of cap percentage. Okay, average annual value percentage of the cap, Jacob. Let's check this out. Trent Williams, 12% of San Francisco's cap. Laramie Tunsil, 11%. Tristan Wirfs, 11%. Penei Sewell, 10%. Ryan Ramczyk, 10%. And we'll talk about the actual numbers here in a second. But I just wanted to do this real quick. Check this out, man. Let's do this. Let's just go to cap hit real quick. Well, this is probably more accurate. Let's stay here.
US Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why US Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from US Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
Tell me when you see a Green Bay Packer at the tackle position. Now, first of all, let's see, is that yeah, so tackle. They've got Elton Jenkins listed as a tackle on here. He can play tackle. We know he's a guard, right? So he's sitting at 8%, 19th highest paid if he was considered a tackle. Let's just scroll on down here. Let's try to find our starting tackles, Jacob. Look at this. Look at this.
Keep going.
Somebody come look at this.
Keep going. Jesus.
Is that not wild?
Wow.
I hope we haven't skipped him. I don't think we have.
No, there you go. Hold on. I just saw somebody.
Zach Tom. All right. So you got Zach Tom is 116th amongst tackles in the NFL.
Counts for less than it's 0.5%.
0.5% of the cap. Now check this out. That's not even the more important tackle position. With a right-handed quarterback, obviously your blind side, your left tackle is more important, right? Look at this. Luke Tenuta, no, he's 0.46. Below Luke Tenuta at 132nd, Rasheed Walker.
Andre Dillard,
0.5%. Is that not wild? Now think about that. Again, Ross Tucker is saying we got a top 10 offensive line. And the two most important positions on the offensive line, well, left tackle, the most important. Second most, in my opinion, is guard or is center. But if you were to say tackle, like most people would, right tackle, we are nowhere near the top. And we got these guys on cheap rookie deals. That's going to change when Tom comes up for a contract. But I just wanted to point that out because it's just absolutely wild how we're saving money. And here's the thing. Many people are going, all right, let's go all in this year. Let's go sign people. We got plenty of cap room, whatever it is, over $20 million in cap space. No, let's roll that over. Let's roll it over, right? If there's someone out there that you go, that's the guy, Howard Green, like we were talking about, right? If someone out there's on the market, you go, that dude can make a difference. I just don't know who that player is. So I wanted to point that out about the offensive line. Now let's go back to Tristan Wirfs, the guy who just got the bag here, and let's see if we could pull up his entire contract. Hopefully we can get it to where you guys can see it here. I want to see, okay, so they don't have it in place just yet. So the contract isn't finalized according to Spot Track. I wanted to see if they had that ready. Let's go to now in terms of salary cap hit. All right. Cap hit. Look at the cap hit for Trent Williams. $31.5 million. You know what's crazy, Jacob? He's not even in camp. He's holding out.
Trent
Williams is holding out from San Francisco right now. And he's got the highest cap hit in the entire league. Next is Taylor Moulton at 29.7. Next is Laramie Tunsil, Jawan Taylor. So if you were to go strictly there, the cap hit for this year for Tristan Wirfs is going to be somewhere around $18.6 million is what they're predicting. But again, man, Elton Jenkins sitting in the 17 spot. He's a left guard that can play. He can play everywhere on the offensive line. I think that's why they paid him. But again, you've got to go way down here. Let's see where the cap hit lies for our starting tackles. This blew my mind. And I knew it was like this, but when you see it in form like this with the rest of the league, look at there, Andre Dillard, 1.1 million riding the pine. Right? Let's see what else we got here. Come on, where you at?
Emilio, you look like you tunneled under the fence, bro. You didn't have time to wash the face.
Dude, I just parked the truck and ran inside.
You're dedicated, dude. I'm just telling you right now. It was humid out there today, too.
It was. That's the truth.
Where are these cats at, boys? Look at this. Kadeem Telford, 795,000. Surely, did we already pass him? We had to have passed him, right, Tom? Surely Kadeem Telford isn't getting paid more against the cap than Tom. That is just wild.
Tenuda's right there at 130.
There's Caleb Jones.
Caleb Jones, 985. Yeah, we must pass. Here we go. Rasheed Walker, 1 million. 1 million flat. That's your left tackle. Now, keep in mind, Trent Williams plays left tackle. If I remember correctly, he's left tackle. And he's over 30 million against the cap. And Ross Tucker has our offensive line unit rated 8th. And again, we talked about Tristan Wirth becoming the highest paid offensive lineman or tackle in history as far as average annual value. It's just wild, dude. So Goody out here playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, man. So and I do want to point out again, highest cap hit, Trent Williams, and he ain't even in camp, boys. He's not even in camp. He's holding out because he wants more money. That's just let's see how that looks.
What's our O-line? What in total under 20 million?
Let's see how this. Oh my God. He's got 2 more years left on his contract. Yeah, I'm telling you, they've got some problems brewing in San Fran, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. You've got Ayuk walking around just laughing and joking and refusing to practice. He's wanting more money. You've got our boy Trent Williams holding out, and he's got the highest cap hit in the entire league at 31.5 amongst tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Next year it goes up to 34.1, then it goes to 37.7. It's not going to get better if they give him a new contract. It's only
they're going to have to pick one of their receivers too. I mean, is it going to be Debo or Ayuk, right?
Yeah, for me, I personally would pick Ayuk if he wasn't a head case, but it's starting to kind of look like this dude's pretty selfish, But
they run Debo, I think, a lot more than – I mean, Ayuk's good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Debo runs their offense a little bit more than –
So here's the thing, though. You've got Christian McCaffrey, right? Every time that you hand the ball to Deebo Samuel, you're taking the ball out of Christian McCaffrey's hands, right? So I would much rather have a receiver that can cause problems in the secondary and lighten that box, which that's what Ayuk does as opposed to Deebo. I understand the value of Deebo. I get what you're saying. He's one of the – I hate to say it, but one of the more enjoyable players to watch in the league. He runs hard. He's fun to watch. But anyway, just wanted to point that out about the salary cap. I thought that was really cool, kind of how that fell. And obviously the Packers in a great position there for sure. Let's see what else we got here. So I want to talk some X's and O's, if that's all right with you guys. I figured there's no camp practice today. There ain't going to be any updates in that regard. So let's go to the Bobby Peters book. You guys heard me talk about outside zone weak runs last time. This is outside zone weak slice. Jacob, you might want to log off. Okay. This is the play with the sift. You see the Y there? Look at that sift, baby boy. Look at that. And the bottom diagram there too, you'll notice they use the U. When they're in 12 personnel, the attached tight end, the traditional tight end is a Y. The other is the U. He's kind of the utility guy. That's the way I look at that, right? So he's lining up as the far receiver, and he's coming over, doing a little pre-snap motion, coming across, setting up at the wing, and then sifting across, slicing across, split flow, split zone, whatever you want to call it, okay? Now let's talk about what it means, okay? What is this play kind of designed to do? What does it mean? Just a brief description. We won't read all of the book. You guys need to go buy it. Bobby Peters, 2023 Green Bay Packers Offensive Manual, okay? It says outside zone weak slice is a great way to diversify the outside zone concept. Using a backside tight end with split flow has a lot of benefits for the offense. This version creates nice cutback lanes against 5 down fronts. The backside tackle and the backside tight end can combo the defensive end instead of the backside tackle being left one-on-one. This is similar to the thought process behind inside zone weak. Slice discussed in that section. This concept appeared heavily against 5 down teams, meaning teams that like to run 5 down linemen or 5-man fronts like we ran our 34 jam last year in the regular season. During the playoffs, the Packers adjusted it to look better on paper against 4 down fronts too, using the backside tight end to arc the defensive end, widens the cutback lane, and also allows the offensive line to push harder front side. The backside tight end will block the wheel. And I think I've got another diagram here, I believe. And you'll notice up top it shows when we ran it and kind of the results, is that top chart there. Really cool. Now, let's go to this page here. It kind of talks about all the results. So you can see that they're doing it with a 2 tight end set, which is basically an ace dub set there at the top, a little nasty ace dubs. And then actually both of those sets are nasty ace dubs, and they'll actually do a little Z motion to bring you to a bunch look on the top one there. And then on the bottom one, they got a little RPO action. That's the other thing you could throw in. Notice how the U is running that flat route, right? So if they start to key in on what you're doing with this slice play, with this split flow, and they start to key in on the weak side going, hey, look, we know the side that they're flowing to, they're probably running away from it because they like to run a lot of weak zone, right? Weak outside zone. So you do that, they start keying in on the weak side, meaning it comes weak side post snap, then you can hammer the flat to the U with the RPO if they start cheating in that direction. You keep everybody honest moving forward. So on first down, they called this play 12 times, and they got an average of 7.3 yards per play. All right. On second down and 1 to 6 yards to go, they called it 3 times for 5.3 yards on average. In the red zone, they called it 1 time, and it resulted in a touchdown. Red zone 10 to the 0, 10 to the goal line, so inside the 10 essentially. Third and fourth downs, including red zone, they didn't call it at all. Second down and 7 and plus, they didn't call it at all. So this is strictly a inside the 10 and short down yardage, early down type play. All right, red zone 10 to 20, they didn't call it at all. So just wanted to kind of outline that when you hear us talk about split flow, when you hear us talk about sifting, notice in this bottom play here in the middle page, that Y is running that sift block, that slice, okay? Up top, the U is doing it. That's what we're talking about. Now, early on last season, you heard me pounding the table go, we got to get away from it because it wasn't working. We were getting our asses handed to us every time we ran split zone. They went away from it, and then later in the year came back to it, and bang, things started to click, right? But I love what Matt LaFleur does with the weak outside zone for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of using
the leverage. See him on that previous picture you had up, he was hammering it in the wild card game. And love to see it. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We got 10, 10, a 2, and 10, 10. Or no, I'm sorry. Yards, we had 5 yards, 3, 9, 10, 27. Mm-hmm. I like it. And it's kind of wild to see that he doesn't even touch it on third down. Not even part of the playbook. And 2nd and 6 is as far as we're going. 2nd and 7, no shot. It's crazy.
And it's specifically used against teams that run heavy 5-man fronts. And the reason being is you're running weak side, so you're running away from the hat count, right? You're kind of gaining the hat count in that regard. You're sifting opposite side. You're getting eyes from the backers in the backfield, pulling them just a touch away from the run side, and then you've got huge cutback lanes. How many times did we see Aaron Jones hit those cutback lanes, and he's off to the races, right? This is what they were doing for the most part. Now, again, I talked about how they struggled with it early in the season. I was going, let's get the hell away from this. Week 4 versus Detroit, look at that right there. 3 yards. Week 5 versus Vegas, 8 yards. Week 5 versus Vegas, -1. Week 7 versus Denver, 2 yards. Week 8 versus Minnesota, 4 yards. And then you notice later on in the year it starts to come alive, right? Week 16, 10 yards. Week 16, 13 yards. Then you got some sprinkled in there, 4, 5, 3, 9. And then, like you said, in the wild card, 10 yards on one run, 27 on another.
Like
San Francisco did a good job kind of scrapping it. But
he scrapped it after week 8, honestly. It's like this. We just, you were talking about it. We just can't keep doing this right now. It's just not working. We'll get back to it.
And the reason being is you can come back to that stuff because if you do it a lot, right, and they're watching the tape, they're going to go, listen, guys, do not allow them to hit you with that eye candy on that sift. Because just because that guy's shooting across it does not mean he's lead blocking. They love to go weak zone. Stay sound. Stay at home. Teams start to pick up on that, and then you get away from it and go, okay, the hell with that. Let's start running some duo. Let's start running some pin and pull. And now you've got to key in on the pullers because the last 4 game saturation of tape that you watched, people were getting eat alive because they're running a lot of pin and pull, meaning you had lead blockers, whether it's a true power play or a little zone that has those guys getting to the next level with those reach blocks and those doubles. Now you come back to the sift, and all of a sudden the eye candy works again because you've got to focus on the lead blockers. you try to marry when Matt LaFleur talked about this in year 1 and 2 of his tenure here in Green Bay, you marry everything together. Everything needs to look the same, but you're doing something different, right? It's huge. So Bobby Peters did an excellent job of breaking that down in the book. Again, I can't recommend it enough, guys. You need to go get it. It's the 2023 Green Bay Packers Complete Offensive Manual by Bobby Peters. Make sure you go pick it up. It's awesome. So, all right. Any questions, comments on that right there, fellas? Anything y'all want to add to that? Because we were talking about offensive line play. I guarantee you're going to see some weak outside zone again this year.
For sure. Absolutely. I think hopefully maybe we get a little bit of power and duo tied in too, just because I think maybe the NFL is shifting a little bit, but we'll see what Matt comes up with. And I really do think, like we've talked about, I think Pistol is going to be new in the offense moving forward. So I think it's going to be cool to see what Matt kind of puts together for that, just because moving forward, it was that interview with Sean McVay. I don't know if you listened to that, Jacob, on The Athletic, but it was talking about how out of pistol moving forward, you're able to have the halfback at the dot and you can go either way, either side of the ball, and keep the defense guessing a lot more instead of sidecar.
Nice. Yep. All right. Let's you want to dive into some of the numbers from last year and kind of do a little deep dive? We can go every aspect of the game. I've got SIS pulled up as long as it doesn't freeze up on us and you guys can actually see these numbers. I'm going to try to zoom it in a little bit when we need to, like this, right? And we can take it back out. But let's start with the passing game. And these are team statistics, okay? Let's see where the Packers ranked passing-wise. What do you think is a key statistic to you guys when it comes to passing? Is it completion percentage? Is it on target? Is it catchable percentage? Is it yards per attempt? What's the thing that you guys look for in passing? And we'll sort by that column and kind of talk about it here, see where the Packers ranked. Pressure is a big thing, right? Pressure.
Yeah.
Let's see where they ranked in pressure percentage. Check this out. Packers were third in pressure percentage, this far right column over here. They gave up pressure only 30.9% of the time last year. That was third best in the league. That's phenomenal. Again, Ross Tucker says we have the 8th best offensive line in the league. And there's no doubt about it. The Goody really prioritizes pass blocking.
And then follow that up. Where was the sack percentage at?
Sack percentage. Let's see. From best to worst, we finished third. Bills were number 1 at 3.7%. Chiefs were number 2 at 3.9%. And the Packers were number 3 at 4.7%, just ahead of the Lions at 4.8%.
So we're keeping them clean. Yeah, he's under a little bit of pressure, but we're keeping them clean at the same time.
Absolutely. Let's go yards per attempt here. Yards per attempt, a little bit lower. We're 10th, okay, at 7.2 yards per pass attempt. Not bad. That's top 10, right? Totally acceptable there. Now, let's go to completion percentage. Remember, this is where Jordan struggled last year, right? Completion percentage, we were 17th in the league at 64.4% as a team, right? So there's where you can see where we need to improve from a passing game standpoint, right? Catchable percentage, meaning it was in the ballpark, it was catchable. The Packers jumped one spot to 16th, all right, at 85%. And then on-target percentage, the Packers were 16th at 73.3%, okay? So our buddy Jake Shavink in the chat says, let's talk any/A, and this is adjusted net yards per attempt, a metric that integrates the approximate value of touchdowns, sacks, and turnovers, and integrates it into yards per attempt scale. All right. Higher the number, the better, obviously. The Packers were 7th in the league, all right, at 6.7 in adjusted net yards per attempt. Number 1, the 49ers, obviously representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Number 2 was the Dolphins. They had a dynamic offense for most of the year. Ravens with Lamar Jackson was third at 7.2. Cowboys at 7.1. Lions at 7.0. Texans at 6.8. Packers 6.7. Bills 6.5. These are all playoff teams. You know,
I was just going to say, this is a great indicator of teams that made it throughout the season.
And they're saying we were 7th best, according to this metric. So appreciate it, Jake. Thank you for asking that one, man.
Crazy how the 49ers are 2 points above us, like legitimately almost 2 full points above us. Wow.
It's impressive, right? And people go, 2 points, what's that? Percentage-wise, with the way that metric works,
Right.
is significantly higher, right? I mean,
they're the only ones in the 8th.
Yeah, and they were 1.2 ahead of the closest team to them, right? So pretty impressive stuff. I don't see the Bears anywhere. Where are the Bears at? Where are those Bears at, guys? Let's go down. Oh, there they are, 25th. That explains it. Okay. Yeah, sucks. Sucks to suck, you know? Sucks to suck. All right, let's go to the rushing game. Y'all want to look at the running game real quick here, and we'll go rates. To me, man, it's all about yards per attempt for me. I don't know how you guys feel. I could care less about touchdowns. You know, there's some guys, oh, yeah, this many rushing touchdowns. And it's like, yeah, don't get me wrong, points are the most important statistic in the game of football. But you could give the ball to a guy, you know, every time you get inside the 5, he comes away the year with 12 rushing touchdowns. And it's like, okay, what did he actually do on the season, right? But if you go yards per attempt last year, running the football, the Packers were 12th at 4.3 yards per attempt. Number 1 was the Dolphins. Number 2 was the Cardinals, believe it or not. Number 3 was the Ravens. 4 was the Niners. 5 was the Lions. 6 was the Bears. The Bears were really effective at running the football last year. They were legit a borderline top 5 team in yards per attempt. Now, is that including the quarterback scrambling? I'm sure it is, right?
Yeah.
Probably plays a role there. Commanders 4.4. They did it because they couldn't do anything else. So, the hell with this. Let's just run the ball.
At only 90 yards a game.
Bills at 4.3. Eagles at 4.3. We'll be facing them.
Tied for 8th. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So, inside the top 10, right? Let's go to broken tackle. You want to? Broken tackle, missed tackle per attempt. Cardinals number 1 at 20% of the time. Steelers at 20%. Ravens at 19%. Commanders at 18%. Seahawks at 17%. You got to go way down here to find the Packers, don't you? So as far as breaking tackles last year, 12.5% was the broken tackle plus missed tackle per attempt percentage for the Green Bay Packers. You got to get that up, right? You got
Don't love that.
Now, the fact that you think about this, though, we were top 10 in yards per attempt, but we're 25th in broken tackle, missed tackle percentage. Says a lot about the offensive line, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Think about
What's
that.
the first down percentage that Clay you can pull that
First down percentage? That's huge. That's a big metric that Michael.
I mean, yeah, if you're going to hand the ball and we're turning it up, we got to be getting first downs.
Yeah,
most definitely.
First down, it was the Bills, 49ers, Eagles in first place. The Packers, 23rd. 23rd in the league at 22.9%.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Can you do the hit at the line percentage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a cool metric too.
Yeah.
Hit at the line. So again, I imagine that's a percentage of the running plays where your running back is hit at the line or behind the line of scrimmage, right? They had contact before they even got 1 yard down the field, I think is how that metric reads. Buccaneers, 49%. So they were a hell of a run blocking team. Packers.
So lower is better here, right?
You're right. Yeah, what are we doing?
Lower's the better.
Great call there. Great call there, Emilio. Eagles were in first place. I'm sorry, 35%. Ravens, 37%. Bills, 37%. So that means that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who we just talked about, Tristan Wirfs,
they needed that.
Yeah,
or they needed to step up.
That's horrible, right? I mean, they're dead last. It's crazy.
Do you think this is fair that you could put more of the blame for this category more on the running backs? Because you know what I'm trying to say? Like if they're getting hit at the line, like to me, I think this because a lot of our running statistics aren't as bad as I thought they'd be. But then the ones that they are, it seems like, for instance, AJ Dillon, I love the guy, but he seemed like he'd get hit and immediately fall over. And he'd get hit, even if it's not right at the line of scrimmage, he'd get 1.5 yards, fall forward for 2 yards, and that would be it. You know what I mean?
And I think to that, Jacob, it also could maybe depend on how they're running it. Are we out of I formation? Are we out of sidecar shotgun? If you have a 3-yard run up and you're coming sideways, I mean, you have no head of steam. Like we liked when AJ Dillon got it from, a single back or something like that, where he could come down 6-yard run and get leaning forward. But I think that's a great point.
Yeah. The other thing too is think about early in the year, we were talking about the SIF not working, the slosh play not working. Another example there.
Another congestion in there, trip up over feet,
Yep, all that stuff percentage. And let's see,
check that out.
Less would be better. Look at the Ravens, man, 15.6% of the time. Bills number 2 at 15.8. Eagles number 3. Eagles have got a hell of a run. They had a bad year last year, but they can still run the football, boys. That's week 1 matchup with Eagles and in Brazil. Whoo, going to have to stop the run.
Yeah.
Going to have to stop the run. But look at the Packers here, 17.5%. So they were 6th in the league. As far as, lower number, the better there for stuff percentage. Design gap is interesting, right? I'm assuming that is how many times they actually run to the design gap of the play, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I would read that. Packers, Aaron Jones always cutting cross field, 27th at 64% of the time. Only 64% of the time did Aaron Jones run where the play was designed. He ends up on the opposite side of the field for a 40-yard gain, right? It's
right. Not a problem. Yeah, not an issue as long as he's moving forward.
Right. Now, as far as fundamentally sound in that regard, the Falcons, 78.2% of the time they ran where the play was designed. Browns, same thing. Ravens, 49ers. 49ers are really, really schematically sound in that regard. Looks like Dolphins, too, right there in the top 10. So, all right, that's a running game. Let's go to receiver.
Real quick, go back to attempts. I'm sorry. I just wanted to see how many times Matt actually, committed to running the ball.
Oh, attempts. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So attempts, the Packers finish 22nd with 441 attempps.
Okay, not bad.
Look at Jacob.
We're throwing offense, I think, right? Or no? I mean,
Jacob said, "I had a reason to bitch. I knew it. I
knew we should have ran it more."
Exactly. Who is the worst? The Commanders, of course, right? They're always playing from behind those. All right, so there you go. There's your running statistics. Let's go to receiving real quick. We'll go rapid fire. We're at the 45-minute mark. I don't know if you guys are number junkies like me, man, but I love this stuff, man, just to kind of see exactly where they fall. All right, let's see. What do we feel like is the most important statistic in the receiving game as a team? What do you think it would be?
Let's do completion percentage.
Completion percentage. All right. So we talked about this earlier already, I believe, as a team. I imagine it would stay about the same. So we were 19th at 66.5%. All right. So completion percentage, pretty tough. Now, on target percentage, catch percentage. So when the ball was on target, this is how often the percentage in which the receivers or tight ends or running backs caught the ball when the ball was on target. 49ers, number 1, Dolphins, number 2, Lions, number 3, all of them at 90, plus 90%. Seahawks, Broncos, believe it or not. The Packers, when the ball was on target, they were 29th in on-target catch percentage at 87.4%. And Jordan Love still lit the league on fire in the second half of the season. That is wild.
That shows that there is some crazy room for improvement still for how good Jordan was down the stretch. That's what I'm saying. This team has a ceiling that has not been hit yet, and it could be crazy to see how high it goes.
I'll tell you who else doesn't have a ceiling that's been hit yet. My man Tim got that spotted cow to me.
That happened so fast. I feel like it was just the other day.
I'm going to tell you something, man. You meet a lot of people over the course of your life. You meet very few that come through like one Tim does. I'm just telling you right now. If you need something, Tim is your guy. Mm-hmm. If he likes you. If he don't like you, it's going to be hard to get a hold of him. That's just the way he operates. Tim is for sure. All right, so drop percentage. I think this is huge right here. Let's start with the lower number, which is the better. 49ers, man, Brandon Ayuk, he's making a case for needing a new contract. Their receivers played outstanding last year, didn't they? I mean, here you are, drop percentage, 3.7%. Eagles, 3.8%. They're not going to give you many opportunities, right? They're going to capitalize on these plays when the ball is on target. Steelers, third at 4.2%. The Packers were 7th. So that, guys, 2022, this is a wild statistic here. 2022, the Packers were tied for most drops in the league by receivers. Last year, they jumped all the way to 7th at 5.3% drop percentage. That is a Jason Vrabel,
with the youngest wide receiver core in the NFL.
Yes. Jason Vrabel, that man is going to be an OC somewhere soon. I'm just telling you. Brace yourself. It's coming. If these receivers break out like people think they're going to, what teams are going to do is they're going to go combing through the league and go, okay, we need a new OC. All right. What about Green Bay? Green Bay's playing good. Who's their quarterback coach? they're going to ask that. It's Tom Clements. Tom Clements is just about done, right? He said he wants to go back home and pet the dog. He wants to sit on the front porch. So Sean Mannion hasn't proven himself yet, obviously. You got Adam Stenavich as the OC, so it would have to be a promotion. It couldn't be a lateral move, so he can't be hired for anything other than head coach or assistant coach, right? Because Rich Bisaccia has that title here in Green Bay.
Right.
The next best thing I would value if these receivers take that next step, there's going to be a lot of people valuing Jason Vrabel and probably going, you know what, that might be our next OC there. So just saying, hope it doesn't happen, but brace yourself because what he's done is pretty remarkable, man. Let's go yards per route run. Packers yards per route run, pretty far down. No, they're up to the top. Here we go, fourth. Okay, I overlooked it. 1.6 yards per route run last year. That was fourth best in the league. Phenomenal there. Yards per target, Packers were 7.5, tied for 12th at yards per target. And then I don't know what this is here. It doesn't give me a key here. What would that be? Yards per route, maybe? No, couldn't be. No, you got yards per route run here.
Yeah, yards per route run.
Yards per reception?
There you go.
There it is, Jacob.
That's why we pay you the big bucks, Jacob.
Exactly right, sir. Yards per reception, they were ninth in the league at 11.3. Right.
First down's key, though. Give me the first down percentage.
Oh, yeah, here we go. How many times they move the sticks, right, Emilio?
All that matters.
Fifth best in the league, 56.7% of the time. Let's go, dude. Let's go. All right. And then
no wonder we picked up a free agent. I mean, no wonder we picked up a running back, right, in free agency, because that was where we were struggling. I mean, legit though, like that's where we were struggling. We picked a running back in the draft. We signed one. We got one down to 4% body fat. I mean, we need to get those numbers up.
Absolutely. Average depth of the completion. Let's see what that is. The Packers finished 14th at 5.9 yards. Average depth of completion. So they were kind of a meaty, what do you want to say here? A medium range passing team, right? And how many times did we see Jordan hit that second window on a dig route, right? Especially on that slot cross concept. Something that just happened constantly. Think of the big play to Aaron Jones on the angle route against Chicago week 1. I would say he probably caught it somewhere around 5 yards down the field. So interesting stuff there. All right, we already talked about offensive line quite a bit. We'll hit on it again anyway. Let's see here. Let's go overall, I guess, and see what the rates are on O-line. We're at the 51-minute mark. We'll get to the offense, and maybe we'll pick up with the defense if we can here soon. Because, the defense, in my opinion, it's a new defensive coordinator, new scheme. I mean, we pretty much cut everybody in the safety room except Anthony Johnson Jr. You got rid of a bunch of people, right? So it'd be kind of pointless to go back and go, here's what we did last year. This scheme is still well intact on offense. So all plays, you guys know blown block percentage is my jam. The Packers on blown block percentage on all plays, 2.7%, not best in the league. Where did Ross Tucker have them ranked? 8th. Right? It's huge, man. I'm telling you, blown block percentage is huge. Let's go to blown block percentage for just passing alone. All right. They were not at 3% there, 3.077% in blown block percentage in pass blocking. And then blown block percentage in run blocking, the Packers were 2.326%, 10th best in the league. So Ross Tucker pretty spot on with his info, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Here's something too. When you talk about running the ball earlier, Emilio, you were talking about attempts.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can get skewed with just going off basic attempts because some teams have more possessions, right? And the defense can play into that.
Right.
I believe if we get these percentage of snaps here, that'll give us a little bit better idea, won't it?
Let's see what
percentage of snaps for run blocking, right? So these are running plays. Let's see where they're at. 16th at 39.5% of the snaps was running snaps, essentially. That make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, not bad. Just under 40% of the time we're running the ball.
Yep.
Not terrible because, who's the max up there with San Fran at 45, right? So
Yep.
No one's running the ball half the time anymore. It's a passing league.
Yep. Definitely. All right. So that's pretty much the offensive side of the ball. I thought we would just do a little deep dive into that and just kind of get an idea, a quick refresher of, hey, here's kind of the way the offense operated last year. We talked offensive line play as well. Where do we rank according to Ross Tucker? hopefully you got a little bit better idea of, okay, here's where the offensive line sits. Now, I think we would all agree Jordan Morgan at right guard is going to be an improvement from last year. Wouldn't you all say?
Yeah.
So everyone else on that offensive line is intact. Everybody's healthy. The only difference is you're plugging in a first-round left tackle, solid player, number 25th pick overall, into the right guard position. That should make your offensive line just a touch better, right? So got to keep our eye on that. But anything else you want to add to these numbers here, fellas, before we get ready to wrap this thing up?
I just think, I've been critical of the offensive line, and I guess maybe the word I should say is worried, just because I didn't see how it was going to gel together the right way and all that. But I like you just talked about, we should improve on the only position that's changing, which is right guard. And then in theory, all of these guys should take a step, just a natural step of progression. I know that doesn't necessarily, it's not like Madden. You don't just get to add like 6 attribute points or whatever to their score.
Man, if I could just get a couple more of those, Jacob.
But honestly, think about it. I mean, it's hard to think that I don't think Walker has hit his ceiling by any means. I don't think Tom's hit his ceiling. I don't think guys like Elton Jenkins have either. So if Myers can, I'm a little bit worried with Myers because he missed another day. He's got something with the personal stuff going on. So that would be one mad wrinkle. As much as we all are kind of chasing Myers out of town with a pitchfork and a torch, I feel like what happens if for whatever reason, whether it be a personal issue or an injury, God forbid, that losing that center position throws a big wrench in our spokes, and we'd have to really shuffle around the deck to make that offensive line back up and functioning. So I think we need to hopefully cross our fingers and hope that Myers stays healthy, which is crazy to think that now I'm actually hoping that he's our center.
Yeah, for sure.
Jacob's mind just switched. He was sitting here all summer. He needs to go. He's got to go. Just one couple practices in. Man, we need the guy calling out who's the mic, right? I mean, we
need him at center. We need Tyler Davis at tight end. All right.
What happened to you,
Jacob? You guys know I've been on board with both these guys. They're my guys.
I've been on board the entire time.
I don't care anybody does yet, right? Got Bears.
All right, let's go to a couple chats here. Andy Monday says, have Jacobs and Lloyd run out of pistol much? Lloyd, I can't remember. You guys remember when we did the film breakdown of Marshawn Lloyd at USC?
I want to say it was a little more sidecar.
I think it was but they ran a lot of power, though.
They did. That's true. That's true. He got a lot of eye looks or single back looks, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. They ran a lot of RPO stuff. I know that every single play there was an RPO option. It just seemed like when the game was on the line, Caleb Williams was too nervous to try to win, and he just gave it to Marshawn Lloyd, let him average 7 yards a carry or whatever. Hopefully that continues. So I want to say there was some pistol in there, Andy, but I'm not 100% sure. What I would suggest is go to YouTube, type in Marshawn Lloyd highlights, and you could pick up on it real quick. But I do know there was a lot of GT power, meaning a guard and a tackle both pulling from the backside. So it was a backside GT power is what they ran a ton of the time. Backside GT power with an RPO attached to it is essentially what they ran at USC. CJN says, Clayton, share your insight today with the show. Bears win their 600 game and Green Bay won the Super Bowl. Bears won their 700th game. Green Bay won the Super Bowl. Guess what, guys? The Bears should win their 800th game this year. I've seen that come across Twitter earlier. I don't know. It might have been CJN that tweeted it out. I get so confused at who's who on Twitter. But, yeah, so.
That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Like when numbers line up like that.
Absolutely, man. Get a beat on it. You know what I mean? Who was it you said? Turtle Man. Remember Turtle Man? You guys remember Turtle Man, right? No. Jacob? What the hell? You boys, you got to live a little bit. Turtle Man was this guy from Kentucky. He had a reality show where he caught snapping turtles for people. Bro. Yeah. Y'all don't remember that? No? Get down there and go, I get a beat on him. Like he could figure out where they were at. He would go stand on them. He'd like, I got one right here. He'd be barefooted, standing on a snapping turtle in the mud. And he'd go, look, it's pushing me up. You could tell he was just raising up. Like he had like 3 teeth in his head. It was awesome, dude. I have met 600 people back home that look just like that guy, Turtle Man. I promise you. Omer says Goot front loaded the Jacobs deal, so he'll be gone years in if he falls on his face again. It's definitely set up in a way. The contract is that, in my opinion, he's here for at least 2 years. Now, you're right. Omer. They can pretty much get out from under it after 1 year, but I want to say there was $7 or $8 million in cap penalty attached. It's really pretty after 2 years. So I think they'll give him at least 2 years. And the fact that he's a captain or was a captain, he's just one of those dudes. And you got Marshawn Lloyd on a cheap contract. They're not going to give A.J. Dillon significant money if he does stay. You got Emmanuel Wilson you could potentially have back next year as well. Pennies on the dollar. So I think he'll be back. I think the plan is, like we always say, a 4-year deal is really a 3-year deal. A 3-year deal is really a 2-year deal. In this case, I feel like it's somewhere between a 2 to 4 year deal, right? After 2 years, if they're not happy with what they got, I think they'll cut bait or ask him to take a pay cut in that regard. I'm expecting big things, so I really am. Prince in the chat says, we now have the running backs to keep the opposing defense aware of the threat. Should help to sell play action. That's a very good point. Mm-hmm. We spent the whole offseason, Prince, talking about how Josh Jacobs is now going to get to play with a lighter box because Jordan Love and all these targets, all these weapons, right? We never even thought about the fact that Josh Jacobs being in the backfield is going to open up play action even more. Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of,
rotating the horses.
It's a matter of marrying those two things up, the running game to the passing, and making everything look in sync, look the same, whether you're running a play action or a true running play. There is no one, and I'm telling you, no one in the league that's better than Matt LaFleur doing that, man.
What are the odds in 4 years? What are the odds in 4 years we got the best offensive USC player out of the draft?
I'll tell you, man, watching him, and again, it was just 11 on 11s, but he looks like he might be the real deal. He just looked comfortable. You know what I mean? Like AJ, I think we would all agree. We love AJ Dillon. We'll play the farmer clip all year long. I promise. It doesn't get any better than that. AJ Dillon is one of my favorite players all time. But you see Marshawn Lloyd run in one day of practice and watch the way AJ Dillon runs, and it's like
right.
It's different. It's definitely different.
Yeah, and he was talking about sushi lovers. I'm gonna have to try that when we go up there, bro. That sounds like a good time. Bro, is it all you can eat sushi? Because that is.
Is that your jam?
That is right down my alley.
Look at Jacob. Jacob's like, they got any corn dogs up there?
Sushi. Ugh.
Hey, we're gonna have a blast, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be so much fun, dude. I'm gonna plan ahead. We're gonna do it upright. There will be cannolis in the house, Jacob.
Oh, 100%.
Still a virgin.
God.
We'll find a couple other things.
Have a good night. Drive home safely.
Yeah.
Eric Sutherland said, "Really? No, I'm just joking." Anyway, all right. So obviously, family night is tomorrow night, right? Lloyd is different. I agree, Coach Lynn. Thank you for trying to get this thing back on track. So family night tomorrow night. We got the good news we opened up with. Have you heard of the good news? Packers Family Night's going to be on Packers.com streaming live. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go live normal time, and we're going to try to carry it for at least an hour, okay? So we're going to try to go from 8 o'clock my time, which is 7 o'clock your all. I'm sorry. Yeah, 7 o'clock your all's time. So we'll get started before Family Night gets started, and then when Family Night kicks off, we'll bring you all the updates in real time. And then we won't be able to show you a lot of stuff because there's obviously rules and regulations around that. But we're going to try to carry it for an hour past it. So we'll do an hour and a half long show tomorrow and just give you guys and gals live coverage of Family Night. It'll be a blast. So make sure you swing through, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jake, if you got anything else that's not inappropriate here before we wrap up, sir.
No, not really. Tomorrow's going to be fun, though. I honestly am. Again, just super happy that it'll be able to be streamed. We'll be watching it, giving you guys updates live. So maybe do one of those things where you do this split screen, have us up, watch it, or just throw your maybe plug your phone in, put your headphones in, and watch it on your TV or something like that on YouTube.
Yeah,
it'll be cool. It'll be fun to break it down. We can all be kind of watching it together. And I'm just, it's crazy how fast this came about. Because after this, it's full bore, man. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and if we pull that up one more time here, so we'll have Family Night tomorrow night, and then there'll be nothing going on Sunday or Monday. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have camp coverage for you guys. When I say nothing going on, we're still doing a show. It's just there's not going to be anything that in real time. Go ahead, Jake.
If we could, if Clayton gets and makes a post, we'll set up the stream to start. If you guys in the chat could do us a favor and just grab that and share it on your Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, X, whatever. Just because, and just say, hey, family. A lot of the casual fans probably don't even know that Family Nights happens tomorrow. Maybe they've kind of tuned out in the off season, which is totally understandable. I used to be that type of fan, but if we want to gain more viewership, which I think all of us do, and grow the PTA posse, if you can share it and just say people, hey man, if you're Packer fans and you want to get like the absolute best coverage you can get and know where the team is at right now, check us out. I think that'd help a lot.
Yep, definitely, man. So next week we got a preseason game. Obviously tomorrow is 1 week away from our first preseason game on the road in Cleveland. So we'll be doing a post-game show for that one, do a little pregame show maybe too. So it's going to be a blast. Emilio, you got anything, man? You going to go wash your face?
Yeah, I need to go shower.
Okay, give it hell, partner.
Where's Tay when you need him?
I got you right here, man. You ready for it?
You gotta wash your
Emilio,
face.
we got, listen, 2 pieces.
I think he's off the list.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
I appreciate it. Just
65%.
65%. That's what
you look like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. You got to go, dude. Yeah, you look like a dude disguised as a dude playing another dude.
I'll never forget when they interviewed him about that. Like when I thought about accepting that role, I thought I get to be black for one summer. This is never going to happen again. I'm feeling this, right? I still haven't seen it, but anyone who's watched it says
it's so bad. It's good. It's one of those.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah.
So bad, it's good.
Look at that. We got to talk for everything, man.
Dang it.
All right. We're out of here. Again, shout out to Tim. Thank you for the spotty cow, sir. You are the man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll see you guys and gals tomorrow night for the Family Night Extravaganza. We'll be here at 7 p.m. Central Time with bells on, getting you ready for all the action. We'll have a Twitter feed going too. Anybody who's tweeting stuff out, we'll kind of give you guys an update in that regard, that type of thing. 2-0 for this Tom Cruise's best role. All right, we're out. Appreciate y'all. Everybody have a wonderful evening. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. Hit that like button for us on the way out. We really appreciate it. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.